genetics. You have a history of genetics, right? That the nerve cell age faster than others. Nerve cell age faster. Because nerve cell age faster means they don't have the ability to make this protein. Alright? So once this protein is absent, which is key, you can see, now what does this protein do? Okay. In the nerve cell, alright, just like people like us, human beings, every day we produce waste, 垃圾. How many of us don't produce 垃圾 one? Literally every day we produce waste, right? Waste. So the cell also has waste, W-A-S-T-E. So once the waste accumulates in the cell, alright, it is not clear. Like for example, today imagine you bangsai, you know bangsai? 大便 you never go and flush the toilet, alright, and the 大便 accumulate every day. Can you stand it? It's very smelly, right? And the waste is not just smelly, but it is toxic to us. So the same thing, if let's say today the cell 大便, 大便 means, produce waste, and if the waste is not clear, you must clear the waste, right? Effectively, then you end up, alright, accumulating, alright, you can see that this thing called Lewy body. Okay, but before you get this Lewy body, you can see here this Lewy body, one touch spot is like bangsai lah. It's like a waste, okay? And there is this thing called synuclein. Okay, doesn't matter you don't, but this is a very, very clear indication that if you have this dot, you can see the dot, one dot, can you see the one dot? Parkinson patient, almost every one of those people with Parkinson, they have this one dot. Alright, so if you don't have this one dot, then you are still normal. But the moment you have one dot, this is a very strong indication that the person has already got Parkinson. But it's not really a disease, it's just that you cannot clear this protein, because this protein is allowed to accumulate inside the cell, right? Because you see the waste has to be packaged and put into a plastic bag, right? So it's a plastic bag. But this one, the plastic bag is faulty, you cannot wrap the waste, and then it should be cleared by the lysosome. You see the L, lysosome? So the lysosome will eat the waste. Swallow, and then digest. Swallow, it's like flushing away. Swallow already, then digest. But if let's say the protein is not being wrapped in a plastic bag like this, because there's no plastic bag, then it cannot be flushed away by the lysosome. Okay, and also because of aging, as time goes by, when you are, let's say now you are 20 years old, okay, your lysosome is very, very healthy. But when you are 40 years old, your lysosome spare part become 40. When you reach 60 years old, your lysosome is very old, The flushing system, the toilet bowl is very old. So when the toilet bowl cannot flush, what will happen? Of course, the waste accumulates. And when the waste accumulates, it's the toxic, right? This is toxic material. And when the toxic material stays inside the nerve cell, right, not clear, what will happen? This becomes a sick nerve cell. Can you see sick already? Not like this one, long and healthy. This one becomes sick, and because the nerve cell die, more and more nerve cell die. Nerve cell important? Yes. Because as I was telling you just now, the motor, all this controlled by nerve. Without the nerve, can you have proper movement? Can you have proper memory or even recognition? No. Same thing, alright? So when there's more nerve cell dying, means that it's the onset of Parkinson. Alright? So it's also a type of aging, isn't it? It is a type of aging. And of course, very importantly is that this result, because the nerve cell die, alright, and then it's not enough of what we call dopamine. Now this is also very important to understand this term called dopamine. Dopamine is very associated with Parkinson. It is like a messenger molecule. In order for nerve cell to have healthy communication, communication, they must talk to each other. They use dopamine to talk. So usually now the doctor, they prescribe medicine that is related to dopamine. They call it levodopa or whatever. It's all about related to dopamine. Why? Because they want to address this issue of dopamine so that Parkinson patient can, acquire a healthy dose of dopamine and become healthy again. Okay, so dopamine is very, very important for us. Now let's just have some statistics, which is also very important. Because why is it that it is getting a more significance in the world? Is that already there's more than last year alone, 2017, more than 8 million people around the whole world has gotten this disease. It's not a disease, but accelerated aging. Alright, and then of course, it is not just aging, but because it will lead to deaths. So this is important, it leads to deaths. So of these 8 million people, 200,000 actually die. So it is a fatal disease. It could be fatal because it could lead to death. And as what Kassan was saying, it's actually it's an elderly disease because usually it's affect only 60 years and above. So if you are 20 years old, don't be so happy. You can have Parkinson because, as I said, you can hit anybody from 20 to even, of course, 20 years old to 80, 90 years old. But 20 years old, of course, is very rare. But 20 years old can have accelerated aging as well. So 20 years old also can get this disease, because the average age of this disease is getting lower and lower. So now, I think from last time 60, 70, but now 50 average. And how many of you are male here? Well, I think you're male, you don't need to tell me, I know who you are. Dancing, sorry. Male, your chance of getting disease than female is higher. Alright? Why? 3:2. So every 3 male versus 2, 3 will get, then 2 female. So more chance of getting it. Why? Because I explained to you. Because women has more hormone than men. Am I right to say that? No, I'm not saying that. Because female got more hormone than male. Because I'm talking about female hormone. Like progesterone, estrogen, who knows about female hormone? Because you know what? Female needs to give birth, what? Am I right? Does men need to give birth? To give birth, you need hormone. Then every month got menstruation. Men got menstruation? Don't have menstruation, right? So, does women have more hormone or men have more hormone? Women have more hormone. So when women have more hormone, so they can play around with hormone. I mean, I'm talking about male because it relies only on a single hormone, which is called testosterone. Sex hormone, you understand? Why we become male and we become female is all because of male hormone, sex hormone. Okay, if you have more male hormone, then you look like male. You understand what I'm trying to say? So because we rely on only one hormone, which is called testosterone, the chance of imbalance is higher than women, because women have more hormones to play with, to balance the hormone. So I think for men, the chance of getting it is higher than women. And of course, once it's diagnosed as having Parkinson, well, it's not a good news. Why? Because that means to say that your lifespan, that means your remaining lifespan is like a capital punishment. Right? To say that your lifespan is only about average now, of course it's not 100%. There are people who live more than 40 years old. But on average, so from the fact that you are being diagnosed as having Parkinson, your lifespan is average 40 years the most. So, is it important for you to have prevention? Right? Because once you are given Parkinson, you only have 40 years left. Although it's not 100%, but that is the average. So, all the more we must prevent the disease, rather than when we get it already, we see how to cure. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's very important to know that. Now, go straight to the point. Now then, how to prevent Parkinson. Can it be prevented? Yes, of course. All right. Now, whatever I'm giving to you here, it is of course very simple to understand, but of course there is a reason why you should do that. But let me just give you the reason. Let me just give you what are the things that you need to do. Okay, regularly. How many of you don't exercise? How many of you don't exercise? Please be honest. Then your risk factor is very high, you know. Your risk factor, but it's not 100%. No exercise doesn't mean to have Parkinson. It's just a higher chance of me. Okay? I will explain to you why exercise will affect your cells. Later I'll explain to you. Okay? But even today, you don't need to go for like a marathon running. You don't need to go and exercise, go to swimming for 2 hours, 3 hours. No need. Just every day, 10 minutes or 15 minutes of exercise. Good enough. You don't need to spend 1 hour. Just 10 to 15 minutes. That's good enough exercise. Can we have 10 minutes at least of your time? Everybody say, I'm busy. But 10 minutes of your time per day, I think that is reasonable, isn't it? Next thing. How many of you drink coffee? I can see that all of you drink coffee. How many of you drink tea? Doesn't matter. Whether you drink coffee or tea, congratulations. Why? Why you laugh? Congratulations. Because you delay Parkinson. But that doesn't mean to say that every day you can drink 24 cups of coffee. Doesn't help this way. Alright, maximum, alright, 2 cups, 3 cups, enough. Tea or coffee caffeinated drinks. I'm not a coffee seller, just for your information, but coffee and tea can help you. I'll explain to you why coffee and tea can help you. Okay, next thing, anti-inflammatory drugs. Okay, now I'm not asking you to go to the doctor now immediately tomorrow. Hey, I need to have anti-inflammatory thing. Actually, you don't have joint problem. I said, I need anti-inflammation. Actually, you say, I want to delay, but that doesn't work this way. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that most people who are taking anti-inflammatory, why? Because anti-inflammation, alright, it is useful in preventing inflammation. Inflammation, it is very associated with aging. When I say inflammation, I'm talking about inflammation within the whole body. It is not inflammation that you see. It's not just outside swelling. It is internal swelling. Organs can get inflamed. If they get inflamed, then you age very fast. Yeah. Understand? So anti-inflammatory drugs can help you. Anti-hypertensive drugs, meaning hypertensive means, high blood pressure drugs. You got high blood pressure drugs, then that also can help you. It's quite irony, right? I mean, it's like, you have to take this drug in order to prevent or rather delay Parkinson, but this has been proven to be true. Then of course, anti-aging foods. Anti-aging foods, I'm sure now you see a lot in the market. Alright, but of course the most strongest anti-aging food is Celagen, isn't it? I'm not here to sell Celagen. But Celagen is anti-aging. Yes. So if you do take Celagen, then congratulations. Because that itself is an anti-aging food, but of course it's not only anti-aging food, you can take others as well. Alright, but why is it that anti-aging food is important? Why? Because it delays the protosomal and the lysosomal. Remember just now you see the word L, right? And the flushing system, right? So you are promoting the delay of this dysfunction. Preventing it, slow down. So your flushing system is still normal. Understand what I'm saying? You remember just now I talked about the L? Just now the earlier picture of the flushing system. You are just trying to maintain the cell life of your lysosome. So that makes sense for you to take anti-aging food. And of course reduce mitochondria. Mitochondria is basically some part of the body of the cell that make energy. So if there's less energy, you feel very lethargic, right? No energy, that of course also because of aging, that also is important. So you must take anti-aging food. Then of course, what is anti-aging food? You can take some beans. Not all the beans. I think I don't know how to do this Chinese word. Yeah, or Chinese food. But be sure that you get some Velva beans and Velva. Very, very good. Very, very good for. I'm not seller of that as well, but this is very good for Parkinson. And of course, especially hormonal balance. Very important to have hormonal